schools in St Albans, including Sandringham and Loretto, are applying for Academy status. This will create a two-tier educational system. Freedom means equality of opportunity.
Why are you out demonstrating today in St Albans?
Basically because one of the local schools especially, but a few of the local schools, is basically contemplating the idea of becoming academies, which basically means that they'll be partly privatised and free from the national curriculum, which, although it has its flaws, is much better than a kind of privately decided curriculum, and also free of LEA control, the local education authority.
We're demonstrating against community schools becoming academies and splitting away from the LEA, and also for students' democratic right to be part of the process to decide whether their school becomes an academy or not.
Schools that opt for academy status will be taking on private sponsors. These private sponsors, including the Daily Mail, will have influence over school curriculums. Do you honestly want your children being taught the values of the Daily Mail?
We tried to build this demo today, and we went out leafleting and got really good student response. But basically, the school's response to that has been, I've been threatened with libel, and I think they threatened to call the police on this demo sort of petitioning thing today. And there's stories about them intimidating the students, saying if anyone goes, they'll get detentions and confiscating the leaflets. And and they've been constantly ringing my parents, even though I'm technically not a student in the school anymore. And it's I don't think they are actually confident about pushing it through, but in a way they have succeeded in doing what schools really do all the time, which is basically intimidate in order to keep people under control.
Well, a lot of the students, when we first approached them, weren't sure what academies were and didn't know what it meant for their schools. And once we explained it to some of them and they've read the leaflet, a lot of them were against it. But they feel intimidated by the teachers and have been threatened with legal action and detention.
I'm against our schools becoming academies, primarily because I don't want the profit motive in education. I think education should be about teaching our children for education's sake, and not so with the profit motive, because I think that detracts from it. Also, the private companies that will be involved if schools become academies will have influence over the curriculum, and I want my curriculum to be about teaching me how to think, not training me for future employment.
I think if we can get the community up in arms about this, hopefully that will then give the teachers support to do it, because basically it seems to me as though any teachers that do oppose it have pretty much been intimidated and haven't really come out of the woodwork, as far as I can tell.
It's important to come out and petition and protest and get in touch with the Anti-Academies Alliance to put pressure on the schools so the students can be part of the process, because a lot of students won't benefit from this and a lot of schools will lose out on money. So it's important that they're part of the decision.
I don't think change is going to come from consulting the school or as a parent or as the community trying to talk to a school, because they're not really going to listen. We kind of have to do sort of direct action stuff and stuff like this really in order to make them listen, because the way they're trying to do this is, and it's kind of the Tories' tactics for a lot of things, it's kind of to sneakily change things, and no one really is kind of that aware of what academies are. It's not clear what they do or how it will change schools, so it's difficult for people to get up in arms about it if they're not actually entirely sure what it's about. So our response really has to be kind of educating people and kind of spreading opposition to it really.
My name's Roma Mills, I'm a parent. I've still got one child in a local secondary school in St Albans. My daughter is a teacher in a mainstream secondary school in Hemel Hempstead. I'm very concerned that what the impact of academy schools would have on her future and the terms of conditions of employment that she might be offered if academy schools could break away from the national terms and conditions. In terms of education, we have huge problems in St Albans with secondary admission. There's great pressure on places, and up until now our community mainstream secondary schools have cooperated to try and make sure that there's a fair deal on admission. But if schools can introduce their own admission criteria or select for up to 10% of their pupils, that will impact badly on our area, and it will mean local children will not be able to get into their local schools.
At the moment it seems to be just the governors making the decisions. The people who actually care about the students' future, the students themselves and the teachers, seem to be against academies, and those are the people who are needed in the debate. Those are the people who care about education, and they're the people currently being excluded.
And what should people do if their schools are being turned into academies in their areas?
I think they should protest. I think they should fight however they can. We get out on a stall like today, have marches. One of my teachers, and I'm not going to say their name, suggested I tie myself to railings to protest. Not sure if it... I hope this will be enough and I won't have to do that, but if not, I'll be going down to my local DIY shop.